Well, hello there. So today we are talking about when you feel overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. So I hear from a lot of folks in our community that when it comes to building a business, whether it's on the side or a full-time thing or somewhere in between, that they are overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. And this is across the board, whether you are, hi Jess, whether you are super well established or whether you are just getting started. It's this feeling of freeze. And so, hi Hillary. Edna Northrup was my granny, actually. Edna Northrup was my granny and she just passed about a month ago. So sending love to Granny. I don't know why you're asking me that question, but anyway, I'm just going to trust that Granny's looking down on us right now, blessing this moment. So thank you, Edna. All right. So, hi, Eliza. Thanks for being here. So overwhelm. Let's talk about it. Here's the thing. We live in a culture that is fundamentally a activated nervous system culture. So if you kind of consider our baseline cultural, collective, conscious and unconscious, it's activated. We're wired, right? So we're here on tech together. We are disconnected from nature. I love that. Mark all the way from the Philippines is asking about my granny. That is just like so beautiful. We are disconnected from one another because we're so deep in our devices. We have access to so much information all the time, right? So I don't have to tell you the problems. You already know. What ends up happening is we get overwhelmed because our nervous system is matching the collective nervous system unless we decide to make a different choice. So today I'm not going to go deep into the nervous system, but if you want to learn about the nervous system and what the heck it has to do with your ability to grow your revenue and be sane and feel whole in the process, join me today at noon. So in 2 hours, I'm going to be teaching a workshop and I'm so excited about it. It's free. And I'm going to be diving into, on the second half of the workshop, the nervous system and why it is so critical for us to get into deep relationship with the nervous system if we want to reach our business goals without sacrificing ourselves on the altar of success. So let me know in the chat here if you are going to be joining in for that workshop. But when it comes to overwhelm and not knowing where to get started, first of all, I just want to say there's nothing wrong with you. So if you feel that way, it makes perfect sense. We live in very intense times. The news cycle is very intense. We have access to headlines all the time, social media, all of the things coming at us. And then the expectation of an immediate response time, the way texting is, for us to get back to people, the way that people respond to emails in the middle of the night, respond to their bosses on the weekends. It's just like, I think it's total insanity, right? Like our lives are not meant to be lived this way, in my humble opinion. But what do we do about it, right? So if there's nothing wrong with you, but you don't want to feel that way anymore, and I just want to know, for those of you who are on right now, can you tell me a little bit about the feeling of overwhelm? And can you tell me a little bit about not knowing where to start? I'm curious. So the integrity economy, go ahead and just come on live for the workshop, even if you are driving, so that you can listen in. I'm just curious. So hi, Amanda. And hi, Deb. So for those who do feel overwhelmed and don't know where to start, can you let me know in the chat, how does that show up for you? Give me some more information. Let me know, where in particular does this stop you up? Where in particular do you find that you're not able to move forward? I'm curious. I'm gonna have a sip of my decaf coffee and okay, that oily life with Erin, always feeling like I need to be on my laptop, anxiously checking for emails. Okay, So that's what we call hypervigilance. And you are not alone. You are not alone in feeling like you constantly have to be checking. So when we're in that state of constantly needing to be checking, that tends to be a trauma response. And we are going to get into that a lot today during the workshop. I've been talking about it a bit on my lives this week, but just know that that hypervigilance is not actually, it's out of proportion. When we find ourselves responding to things in a way that's out of proportion to the situation at hand, it is usually because something happened in our past that's stored in our bodies, stored in our nervous system, that we are acting out because fundamentally we don't feel safe. So there's a phrase, if it's hysterical, it's historical. And I'm not saying that checking your email anxiously is a hysterical response. We could go into the whole history of calling women hysterical, and I'm really not here for that. But I do want to say that if you're finding yourself doing that, it is not because you actually need to, right? So it's sort of an irrational response. And it is because memories are stored in our bodies and our bodies are trying to keep us safe. So it's a beautiful tendency we have, but it's not actually helping us in a conscious daily way. I see we have all of our bots and trolls joining. Rebe, how do I let go of the belief that if I do more, I will have more value? Yeah, that takes some time because we've all been brainwashed to believe that if we do more things, we will be more valuable. It takes some time to unravel these beliefs. It takes some time to unravel these patterns. And so what I want you to know is, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. Second of all, if you're overwhelmed and don't know where to start as it relates to reaching your business goals, it can take a little time to unravel those patterns because usually it is based in a trauma response and it is based in something going on with our nervous system. But if I were to start all over again, I am going to tell you what I would do. If I were to start all over again, here's where I would start. And I'm switching gears here. We're taking a hard left together, folks. And this hard left is to say, if I were to start all over again, I would start by growing my email list. So if you are here and you're just like, tell me an answer to where to start, I'm just going to tell you, start with your email list. The other day when Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram went down, it was such a profound reminder that we need to build our businesses on a foundation of community that we actually have control over, that can't just be taken away anytime big tech has an outage or changed their mind or whatever. So I would start there. And in the Origin membership, which actually opens for enrollment today, in the Origin membership, I have a 2-part getting your business up and running, part 1 and part 2. So whether you're brand new or you are midway in your business somewhere and feeling stuck, that's a great place to start, to just go through step by step, because there's 2 things going on here, right? There's our interior, there's our autonomic nervous system feeling unsafe and thinking we need to be hypervigilant, and then therefore checking the email, checking social media, checking the headlines, checking YouTube, checking the news, everything that's going on. And so that creates more overwhelm because our nervous system, our amygdala, is trying to keep us safe. And it thinks by doing all the checking, it's going to keep us safe, right? And so that just creates more and more and more overwhelm. But the other thing that's going on is sometimes we actually don't know the steps because we're doing something new, right? So for example, we're doing a big project in my company to search engine optimize our blog. We didn't know the steps, so I needed a blueprint. So I got a blueprint from my friend Elizabeth Ryder and her course, Be Seen Blogger. I'm not an affiliate, just saying that's like where we learned. And so we needed a step-by-step practice. So on the one hand, we have our nervous system. And on the other hand, we actually just need literal strategy. And so having both of those things together is really important for helping us feel safe. doing nervous system practices, putting your body first, whether that is, I'm going to actually walk you through some of them today on the workshop. So if you go to originmembership.com/workshop, and even if you can't come on live, you'll be able to get the replay. So I'm going to walk you through some of those nervous system healing practices so that when you find yourself in a state of overwhelm, you can get back into a place of rest and restore. When you're in a place of rest and restore from a nervous system perspective, then you actually can see what you need to be focusing on and what you don't. Most often when we're overwhelmed and we don't know where to start, it is because we are in a freeze response that is a trauma response because we're in our sympathetic nervous system. So today during the workshop, I'm going to walk you through a couple of practices to get out of sympathetic dominant and into parasympathetic dominant. I'm going to tell you why that's so important. But also, so while you're doing your nervous system practices, while you're putting your body first, as we talk about in Origin, it's also really important that you have practical strategy. And today, also during the workshop, I am going to be sharing with you 2 practical strategies to know what to focus on when. Because just having a tool to say, okay, here's everything that I could possibly be doing, and I need a way to determine what to focus on. So I'm going to give you 2 tools to do that today during the workshop. One of them has to do with cyclical alignment and cyclical planning. Anybody who already practices cyclical alignment and cyclical planning, give me a shout in the chat. And then the second one that I'm going to teach you is the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, so that you can identify what are the 20% of actions that will give you 80% of the results. And then we're going to get into the nervous system. So here's what we do in Origin. In Origin, in the work that we do with our community, we have simultaneously all these ways that we are retraining our nervous system to feel safe so that we can do our best work, while also providing practical business strategy. Because when you have both, that's the match made in heaven. It's not either or. We can go really into this like, it's all strategy, it's all mindset, it's all just push harder, just put in more work, just go for it, just push, just hustle, just grind, you'll get it done. Or we can go into, it's all, I just am only going to be with my inner self. I'm just going to talk to my soul. I'm just going to heal my body and the business will take care of itself. Neither of those things are actually true. We need both. And so if you don't know where to start and you're overwhelmed, know that you want to start with your body, and then you also just need a roadmap to walk you through. Okay, here's what to do first. Grow your email list. Here's what to do second. Clarify your offerings. Here's what to do third. Make sure you know what your ideal customer avatar is. Here's what to do fourth. Create a repeatable marketing system. So we have the step-by-step plan in Origin to walk you through, do this first, do this second, and we actually then have how-to lessons to tell you how to do each of those things. So it's really like this beautiful step-by-step roadmap. The other thing is, whether you're brand new or you're a more established business owner, the getting your business started part 1 and part 2, those lessons in Origin are a wonderful step-by-step audit that you can do to see which pillars of your business you may need to shore up. Is it the systems pillar? Is it the marketing pillar? Is it your values and your purpose pillar? Which part do you need to lean into to create a more solid foundation? So, overwhelm, 2 things. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with our culture. We can all change the culture. A culture is made up of human beings. You are a human being. We are changing one nervous system at a time. If we want to change our collective nervous system so that we're not so jacked up, we can change our nervous system and learn how to do that with beautiful healing tools that we practice in Origin. And there's so many other amazing practitioners where, the conversation around trauma healing and the nervous system is very much having a moment right now. And I'm so grateful to be one of the voices as part of this movement. And then the other part is you really just need somebody who has gone there before to tell you, you know what, here's what I would suggest. Do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. I've been in business for 2 decades. I can't believe that that's true, but I've had my own business for 2 decades. And I would love to shorten your learning curve. I would love for you not to have the years and hundreds of thousands of dollars go by that went by for me as I was figuring this stuff out. I'd love you to give you those like insider tips to be like, hey, do this, don't do this. I can't tell you how exactly your business should be built because I don't know, but I can tell you what worked and what didn't work for me. And then our other 800 members can tell you what worked for them and what didn't, so that you can shorten your learning curve and save yourself time and save yourself money. So I'm going to be talking about some of those things today during the workshop, originmembership.com/workshop. I know I'll see a bunch of you there. And then, of course, if you want to just check out Origin and forego the workshop, but you're like, this lady seems like she knows what she's talking about. P.S. I do. And I want to learn more, then you just go over to originmembership.com. So thanks so much for being here. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you if you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. We live in a culture that is super, super activated, and it is up to all of us to heal that within ourselves so we can heal it within our culture. And P.S., when you heal that in yourself, you're able to do better work, more focused work, get things done in less time, and have less stress in your life. So everything works better with a healed nervous system and with a proven roadmap. That is my message for you today. And if you're not growing an email list, start growing an email list. And we do tell you how to do that within Origin. All right, thanks for joining in. I will see you for the workshop. Bye.